his status. As will be White moving from left to right on your computer monitor. Luca Vancina. Many people excited to see Luca. This is their first look at him, is coming over from across the pond. And it's Spears on the defensive rebound. Here comes Jamar Deuce Briscoe. I think he's the one fans are most highly anticipated to see. Of course, he came from North Carolina Central, sat out last year, had a whole year behind DeJuan Harris to kind of learn from him, as Braswell lets it go from the right elbow and gets it to fall through. But Deuce, the Baltimore native, will likely be our starting point guard. And I know a lot of fans are excited to see him. Of course, he can score in bunches. But an interesting article earlier this week, Tom Sorensen, as Deuce gets called on the foul. And talking with David Scott as well, Coach Major doesn't necessarily feel as if he should take the 15 or 17 shots, but if he can go 5 for 7 with a handful of assists, that's the kind of point guard he's looking for. As Mayfield lets it go from the elbow, and we're tied at a pair. Green quick up over the timeline. Here's Briscoe. Works off the screen right, goes opposite of Braswell and gets fouled on the way to the bucket. So there you see some of the quickness from Deuce. 4:01 on the clock, so I guess we're playing 5-minute intervals. As Deuce will toe the charity stripe. As a team last year, Charlotte a 73% free throw shooting squad. They return their top 3 scorers as Deuce misses the first. Spears, Green, and Braswell. All back on this year's squad. Of course, the A-10 preseason awards came down this week. Shamari Spears, a second-team preseason All-Atlantic 10 member. Here's Luca in the corner. JB, short. And a rebound by Dario Green. Braswell, a third-team All-Atlantic 10 selection. Here's Green to the bucket with the left hand. Might have traveled, gets it off to Braswell, and we get a late whistle, foul on Goke. So it'll be Braswell going to the charity stripe. We're knotted at a pair. Good crowd on hand here on Fan Day. Again, an opportunity for season ticket holders to come through, pick up their season tickets. There will be an autograph session later this afternoon and a clinic as well. For the youngsters in attendance, Braswell makes the first free throw. Last year, a 76% free throw shooter. Averaged 9.5 points and 8.5 rebounds a game. Tremendous freshman, and certainly the front court of Braswell and Spears, one of the best in the conference. In between the circles, it's Searin. Now bounce pass to Jones on the block. A little baby hook. Can't get the roll, but an offensive rebound by Barnett. Braswell's looking at his teammates like, what happened there? I thought we were supposed to box him out, but the putback by JB, and we're knotted at 4. Wilderness to Briscoe on the elbow. Now back to Green. 3 on the way. Ring it up. Dario Green hit 79 triples a year ago. A 31% three-point field goal shooter. Makes that one and puts Green up by 3, 7 of 4. Monsina inside the Jones, back to the basket. He gets bumped by Braswell, and that's where we get the whistle. Phil Jones, the 6'10 senior out of Brooklyn. And we have a timeout called here by Coach Major. So you see Coach Major coaching the White squad here today. And it's the score that doesn't really matter. Of course, it's just a scrimmage, but more or less an opportunity for these fans to see some newcomers and get an idea of what a Coach Major offense and defense looks like. Out of the timeout, Phil Jones will be towing the charity stripe. Phil adding some depth in the front court this season for Charlotte. Jones had 4 starts a year ago, 5.5 points, 4 rebounds a game. He also blocked 65 shots. Jones misses on the front end. 65 blocks a year ago. I was looking at some stats all time. If he blocks another 65, he'll be the all-time leader in block shots at Charlotte. Near side, Anwan to the basket. A striking layup, and Monsina gets whistled on the foul. That's what Wilderness does, a kind of slasher to the cup. In transition, wasn't able to get the basket, but he'll be shooting a couple free throws. So haven't really gotten into the rhythm of this game. A lot of fouls early on. As Wilderness lets it fly. Smooth as silk. 8-4, Green on top. Not much depth on either of these benches right now. Looking over, Weezy gets them both. And here's Luka running the point for the white team. JB, foul line extended left. Back to the basket, Phil, fade away. Fronts the cup and gets it to go. Phil's got some touch for a big guy. Never forget when I asked him if he could compare himself to one NBA player, he said Dirk Nowitzki, of all people. Braswell underneath the basket gets hacked again. And he'll go back to the free throw line. So with 2:16 remaining here in the first scrimmage session. It's for Braz. Don't have stat monitors here. We aren't tracking official stats for the game. Braswell misses on the second attempt. And now it's Luka over the timeline. Women's scrimmage coming up shortly as they thread it to JB. Now Siren. Barnett feeds it to Jones, working on Braswell. Phil to the cup, gets it to go off the window. So Phil Jones has 6 points here, I believe. He's had 4 points on back-to-back possessions, so feeding it to the big fella on the block. And here's Deuce. To Dario in the corner, spot up three. Off the heel, and a rebound by Javaris Barnett. Here comes Luka. Gets it to Siren. The pass intended for Mayfield, tipped out of bounds by Green. Nice anticipation by the Charlotte guard. Ten to 8. Green up by a pair. And here's Luka for three. In and out. A rebound by Deuce. Here comes Briscoe. Dario off the bounce. He'll reset the offense in between the circles. Dario ran some point last year. Comfortable with the rock in his hands. Rules off the screen. Kind of an errant pass intended for Braswell. He couldn't handle it. Tipped out of bounds. So with 1:01 remaining here in the first quarter of the scrimmage. Monsina all the way to the cup, loses the basketball. Out of bounds, they're going to say Braswell off of his right thigh. Stays on this end. You see Coach Major on the sidelines. An interested onlooker, of course, he sees this every day in practice. Gokin sets the screen left, and they're going to say a moving screen on Gokin. 25 feet from the cup, so a turnover for White. We touched on it at the open, but Tuesday, November 2nd, the exhibition game against Queens right here inside Halton Arena, 7 p.m. tip-off time. Braswell fading away from the basket. And it's going to go off of Braz as he tries to track down the long rebound. Then the Friday, November 12th game against Gardner-Webb, 4 p.m. tip-off time in the home opener. Here's Luka off the bounce, terminates a dribble. Braswell with good defense, able to thread it to Barnett. In rhythm three is off the mark with just 2 seconds left. Here's Briscoe to heave it from half court. It's no good. Green takes a 2-point advantage to our first quarter break.